Hi everyone, it's Raquel Bowman here, and today I'm sharing a layout that I created as part of the Jot Magazine and Cocoa Vanilla Studio collaboration. And the photo that I'm documenting for this layout is a photo that was taken at the Escape to Create retreat this year, and it's a photo of all of the Jot girls that ended up being at that retreat. What I decided to do for this layout was I used the tagline, do you call it, or the motto behind Jot, and it's normally I've seen it posted on Instagram, and it says Jot is for storytellers, paper crafters, memory makers, and photo takers. And what I did was I imported that image into my Silhouette Studio software, and I recolored it pink to match the collection, and then I've printed it out on my wide format printer. So I've made a bit of a feature of that, and then what I've put above that is a small photo to fit inside one of the frames from the chipboard sheet in the Make-A-Wish collection. And I'm going to embellish either side of the photo and then to the sort of right side of the bottom of that text, and I'll also add some journaling in there as well. So although this is a birthday collection, there is a heap of embellishments that would suit everyday scrapbooking. And it's funny because when I actually was unboxing, and you might have seen my collection video that I've shared on YouTube, I went through the ephemera pack, and there was probably maybe 2 or 3 pieces in the ephemera pack that were actually specific to birthdays. The rest could be used for non-themed scrapbooking. So it's definitely a really versatile collection, and I chose to use the more floral elements from the collection, as well as the butterflies, some of the sentiments, round sentiment tags or words I used as well. One of them says, I think these are the good times. I used as well a couple of the smaller word stickers that are on the bottom of the 6x12 sticker sheet. And what I'm doing now is I'm just building layers behind my photos. So I've got that gorgeous ombre looking frame, and then I have a doily, which is a 5-inch doily. It's not quite, it's not the larger size that I might normally use. It's a bit smaller. And then behind that as well, I felt like it needed another layer, so I just added a layer of a floral paper in the collection. And it's really just a small, around, you can see it right there at the top, it's just a really small mat around that whole photo section. So I'm working now on adhering things down. So I was actually happy with the placement as I laid things out of where everything was going. I wanted to add some dimension to the back of that photo, even though the frame has dimension as well. So I've used some foam, and then what you saw me doing then was just taking my sanding block and just sanding around the edge of that pattern paper. The reason I did that was I wanted to add a bit of detail to it. And I find that if I sand the edges of it, especially a paper with a white core, it'll expose that white core and just gives a nice edge to it. I suppose it's like if you like inking and you like that darker looking edge. Well, I like white, so I like that white edge that it brings to the page. So that's why I've done that. Then what I'm doing is there was that longer sentiment sort of phrase sticker that I've adhered at the bottom under that photo takers, and I've put a little flower to the right there, and I'll explain to you shortly why I'm putting things like the flower to the right and not the left side and that sort of thing. And it is all about balancing out the layout and making sure that it's not heavy to one side or unbalanced, basically. So I'm chopping and changing just slightly with where I'm working on, but I know that I wanted to have a cluster of embellishments to the right of the photo, a cluster to the left and where that sort of vellum circular embellishment is as well, and then a bit of a grouping of embellishments down the bottom. And if I drew a line from all three of those, then it would form that triangle that I talk about a lot on my videos. But I find that even when I'm not intentionally thinking about creating a visual triangle, that I do it. So it's an automatic sort of thing for me now to make sure that my layouts stay balanced and I guess nice to look at, hopefully. So I'm adding and using a lot of foam adhesive on the different bits and pieces that I'm layering to the right of the photo, and that's because I had foam behind the photo, and then obviously that chipboard frame is thick as well. So if I wanted that camera piece to stick above that frame, I sort of needed to double layer my foam adhesive so it meets that same level, which is what I did. Then I've added the vellum flower, which is so pretty. And what I find when I'm adhering those vellum pieces, it can be a little bit unsightly if you place a big glob of glue, or even sometimes just your tape adhesive shows through a lot. So I find that I either dot really small pieces of my liquid adhesive where I'm going to be adhering it down, or I'll pop the liquid adhesive on areas that are a bit darker on the vellum, just so that it doesn't show through too much. And now I'm just sort of working on those small little embellishments, those ones that give those finishing touches. So I added some enamel dots, I added a couple of the butterflies, just adhering them in the middle so that they have that dimension. And I've added a couple of the hearts as well, the vellum ones. I felt like the page was pretty much finished in terms of embellishment, but I felt like it needed something to bring it all together. So what I did off camera was I actually machine stitched, you saw me drawing a bit of a border, and then I've machine stitched around that. I felt like that gave it that finishing touch that it needed, and it made your eye stick to that central design because the border was centrally sort of placed. It was vertical and in the center. So I did that, and then you could see that I'm typing up some journaling, just talking about the Jot girls that were at the retreat, and this is representing them. And then that's pretty much done, and I'm going to leave you with some close-ups now. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing this process, and if you haven't already, check out issue 16, where there were lots of layouts and projects from the other Jot girls using this Cocoa Vanilla collection. And I will see you all soon. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.